Welcome to a brand new chapter of learning. I am Teacher Claire, your teacher podcaster in grade 5. So, are you ready to listen for a podcast lesson? Alright, now get yourself learning module as well as your notebook and pen. Be sure to listen attentively to the lesson of today's podcast. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started! Every organism exists as the result of reproduction. Reproduction means to reproduce. It is a biological process by which an organism reproduces offspring that are similar to their parents. It enables and ensures the continuity of species generation after generation. Furthermore, it is a fundamental feature of all known as life. How do animals such as butterflies, frogs, mosquitoes, and cats grow in number? Let us answer this question. Animals grow in number through the process called reproduction. I will repeat again what's the meaning of reproduction. Reproduction is the biological process by which an organism reproduces another individual or offspring that is biologically similar to the organism. All of these animals that I've mentioned reproduce sexually, and we call it sexual reproduction. How do you define sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction takes place when sex cells from two parent animals, one male and one female, unite to form a new animal through fertilization. The fertilized egg is called a zygote. Though all of these animals reproduce sexually, they have different modes of reproduction. Now, you already know the definition of reproduction and sexual reproduction. This time, let us learn more about the different modes of reproduction among different types of animal species that I've mentioned earlier. Let's begin with the mode of reproduction in butterflies. The mating begins when the male butterfly detects a female butterfly releasing pheromones at close range. When the female accepts the male attaches to the female's abdomen, injecting a sperm packet into her stomach that she stores until she decides to lay eggs. They may go on a courtship flight during mating that can last for an hour or more. As the eggs pass down the female butterfly's egg-laying tube, the sperm fertilize them. Although male butterflies can mate more than once, female butterflies only mate once throughout their lives. About 4 days, a female butterfly lays from 100 to 300 eggs during her life. Next are all about mosquitoes. Reproduction by mosquitoes begins with courtship. During mating, the male deposits sperm into the female through a small pouch in her abdomen. The female sucks the blood used to feed the fertilized eggs. After mating and sucking down some blood, the female will rest for a few days to lay eggs in water, swamps, or anywhere with sufficient moisture. The entire life cycle from an egg to an adult takes approximately 8 to 10 days. Let's proceed to the modes of reproduction in frogs. All frogs reproduce sexually. The fertilization in frogs happens outside the female's body. The female releases her eggs and the male releases his sperms at the same time. The male and female get into a mating posture called amplexus, in which the male climbs into the female's back and clasps his forelegs around her middle to make sure that the sperms reach the eggs. They can stay in a plexus for hours or even days as the female releases as few as one or as many as several hundred eggs. Usually, about 6 to 21 days after being fertilized, the egg will hatch. Number 1. It is the biological process by which an organism reproduces another offspring that is biologically similar to the organism. A. Fertilization. B. Reproduction. C. Sexual reproduction. D. Modes of reproduction. The answer is B. Reproduction. Number 2. It takes place when sex cells from two parent animals unite to form a new animal through fertilization. A. Fertilization. B. Reproduction. C. Sexual reproduction. D. Modes of reproduction. The answer is letter C. Sexual reproduction. Number 3. Which of the following is true about the heat cycle in cats? A. Cats stay in heat for about 10 to 30 days. B. Cats in heat are moody towards people. C. Cats in heat are quiet and like to lay down. D. Cats in heat make more noise, louder and more frequent. The answer is letter D. Cats in heat make more noise, louder and more frequent. Number 4. How many times do female butterflies mate throughout their lives? A. Once. B. Twice. C. Thrice. D. As many times as they wanted. The answer is letter A. Once. Last question, number 5. Animals reproduce sexually too. A. Make new animals. B. Get food from its young. C. Get rid of unhealthy animals. D. Comply obligation to the species. The answer is letter A. Make new animals. Okay, how many correct answers did you get? If you got 5, very good. If you got 4 to 3, good. 2 down, cheer up. You can study and listen again this lesson and do better. Today, we study about the different modes of reproduction in animals such as butterflies, mosquitoes, frogs, and cats. I hope you learned a lot from this podcast-based lesson. Again, this is Teacher Claire, your teacher podcaster, saying thank you very much for listening and watching. Bye!